Hi everyone, Ken Kirschbaumer with SVG. I'm here with Sasha Zivanovic. You are the Nextologies CEO. Sasha, how are you doing?
I'm doing amazing. Thanks for asking.
So I wanted to, we have a few minutes here. I wanted to start with, I looked at your website. You guys do a lot you look like the mini NEP or something like that. But so walk me through Nextologies, what you're all about, and some of the services that you want to zero in on.
Yeah, there's so much we do, and I appreciate the comment that calling us a mini NEP, nobody can be like NEP. That's a behemoth. We are the simplest way to explain what we are and what we do is we're custom end-to-end broadcast solutions. We're that augmented infrastructure where call it infrastructure as a service, staffing as a service, engineering as a service. We bundle it all under one umbrella. And what sets us apart is we use a myriad of whatever open source or closed source or licensed technologies. We build that into our own software. And some of the big manufacturers in the room are going to be freaking out, but we don't need to go buy a Elemental this or a High Vision that or a Live View this. Amazing brands, amazing solutions, but we do it ourselves. We do it ourselves, we manage it for our clients, and we remove that CapEx burden on our clients by providing an OpEx infrastructure. So we'll amortize a service over a period of time, whatever that might be, from making apps for American Idol, that like we've recently done, doing remote production for SpaceX, which we've recently done, even to the extent of introducing our auto captioning technology that we've done just most recently, talked about integrating the Google API. So myriad of solutions. It would take a couple hours to explain it all, Ken, but really it's customized. When you want to do that thing, but you don't have that employee, or you don't want to waste the resource of that employee to do that because they're doing something else, well, you call Nextologies and we come in there and we find the right service set. And because we're here to keep the broadcasting industry, because it's changing dramatically, keep it as alive as long as possible, give it the longest runtime as possible. We are really aggressive with our pricing, and we're not gougers. We make it work.
So you mentioned, so for example, you mentioned pieces. So if I have, let's say, a production and I have piece A, B, C already locked down, I'm in good shape, but I still need help on D&E. You can kind of help out with D&E. So it's not
exactly
soup to nuts kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. We'll come in on the last little element where they handle all the production. They have all this amazing gear for call it the green screens and all of the cool 3D technologies they have, but they still need to deliver a signal or acquire a signal, or they need to most recently where we're when COVID hit, and that was a real big shine for us because the fundamental of our business was full-time video delivery, comparable to the Encompasses and the Level 3s and the Globecast of the world. These organizations where give you that full-time connectivity. That's where we started. And then our partners like PSSI, an amazing company, said, hey, we trust you guys because we know we've dealt with you in the past. Can you help us solve problems? Here's the problem. COVID hits. There's 75 producers who are normally on set, and staff that are normally on set. They need gear. They need to see it in the highest quality and the lowest latency. Can you come up with a solution? 75 devices per se, or solutions that would allow them to still be part of the set. So they still use audio communication like a Unity or some form of RTS communicator, but that video portion, which RTS has that option, but to integrate, and by the time that would get licensed and sold, it just takes too long. So we came in with our solutions where we provided them a multi-view, a selectable multi-view through a web portal, as well as a little appliance, probably the size of a pack of cigarettes, or if some of those who understand what a Raspberry Pi is. It's not a Raspberry Pi, but it's running on ARM architecture. Same concept where we sent 100 of these out to all these remote sites. Some had programs, some had multi-view, some had program and multi-view, just plugged into their home television. And next thing you know, they were at the production, but they're sitting at their house outside of Hollywood, and as far as London in some of our clients' cases to be part of the production still. So that's the solutions we were able to do in 7 days, right? It's unheard of, even having inventory, and don't get me started about semiconductors now, but even having that inventory. So that's where we slotted in and solved those problems.
So it sounds like you're like the I've been using this phrase a lot. This last year's been the MacGyver year, right? Where everyone's trying to kind of create things on the fly. So you sound like you fit right into this sort of this chaos of this MacGyver taking a book of matches and making a bomb or something like that. So not making bombs. But
I love that you bring that up. We've been MacGyvering it since I started in the industry in 2006, 2007, when we didn't have money to backhaul a video channel from halfway around the world. I'll give you a quick anecdote. We paid a company, the sister company that I worked at. I was an employee. I was actually an assistant, to tell you the full story. But I started as somebody's assistant, and we had to get a channel from point A to point B, and a company, which I won't call them out, was charging us $8,000 a month to downlink a signal off AsiaSat 5 and relay that to Toronto, where our NOC was, and then carry that signal on to Dish Network for that delivery. It was $8,500 US. We're in Canada, so $8,500 US. And I said, there's got to be a better way to do this. Long story short, we were able to MacGyver it to the point of where it was costing us maybe $500 from $8,500. And the founder of the sister company, now my partner, he was actually a long-term friend, said, we got something here. Do you want to run with it? And 2011, I decided, okay, let's run with it. And that's really when Nextologies was born. And we started leasing full-time fiber and circuits into all the major operators across the country, and still doing even more, especially now during this migration of satellite. But we've been MacGyvering it since then and turned into professional services. And there's a gentleman over at Dish Network today who calls our appliance the Swiss Army knife. And it's, how funny MacGyver always had that Swiss Army knife. That they call, we used to have an orange appliance, and that orange appliance was the Swiss Army knife because it could do IP, ASI, SDI, everything, and satellite all in one rack unit. We've goodnight that product, but we've evolved into that whole new world of the continuation of MacGyvering, and MacGyvering is now a tier 1 solution because now you're competing with little Billy in his basement running OBS or vMix.
Right.
And we were lucky because we just started maybe a few years earlier than everybody else.
Awesome. Well, last question for you. So you mentioned the changes going on in the industry, and there's a tremendous amount of change, right? A lot of acceleration of technology curves. Hopefully we will have a chance to go back to normal if we wanted to, but what's your sense as far as, 2022? What's your sense on how those changes may stick around, or where you might be able to accelerate them even more, or make them stick around?
That's a great question. Infrastructure as a service. Amazon and the cloud is amazing. We use none of it because it's our own infrastructure. We understand broadcast, and as amazing as Amazon is and the AWS, that platform, they are just some server rental with some software sitting on some servers. There is no 1-800-Amazon to call someone to get something solved, because not that it can't be done, the people who are running it were never taught it, never educated, never exposed to it so that they could learn it. We're that intermediary. So we're doing that infrastructure as a service to our global network of data centers that we've built out into Europe, multiple locations in Europe, Asia, Canada, partnering with teleports, building out this infrastructure so that you can actually call our NOC and talk to someone regarding that. So augmented infrastructure or augmented staffing, I believe that's the way to go. And for the foreseeable future, we have a lineup of clients out the front of the door here, just waiting to get in to downsize because they spent millions of dollars years ago to do something. And now they're having to spend that millions of dollars again, or move to AWS. But I got to train people, got to hire people. Who's going to manage this? What if this person gets fired or loses his job? So that's 21. That's for the next 5 years. So I know you asked me 2022, but that's at least for the next 5 to 10 years. And more companies who adopt this model are going to be successful. And I encourage that to all, other SVG members, and taking that and understanding that infrastructure is the greatest value that you have. If you spent that money today as a company, please don't get rid of it. Give me a call. We'll figure out how to monetize it. Don't dump it and go to AWS or Azure or Google. Please don't. Give me a call.
Right, there you go. I think your Prime monthly fee just went up, but that's okay. But thanks, Sasha. I appreciate your time. Good to see you, and hopefully see you later this year.
Yeah, and it was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thanks.